Hey, can y'all hear me? Okay. I apologize. For some reason, I can't get my speakers to work. Also, thank you, Anthony. You're a king for saying that. Howdy. I promise I'm fully vaccinated. I'm staying in my bubble. And I can't seem to figure out how to make my audio work. So that's fine. Sweet. And my webcam's messed up. You'll have to see that. Ah, not ECF technology. Oh, that's me. So what are your guys' names? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet y'all. I'm Maddie. So today, I think, is just syllabus day for the most part. We do not need it today. No. I'm going to pull it up and show you guys a little bit for a mini crash course, but you do not need it. No. If you want to take notes and like, I guess that's up to you. So like when I pull up the program to show it to you, if you want to try to type along, you can. It's a lot though. So you really don't have to. That's just if you want to. I might even mess around and just send the file to y'all. I mean, I can make it so that you can, but you don't need to. It's literally just like getting you aware of some of the syntax and stuff for coding. So. They should work. Yeah, work. Like it's not working at all. Is the computer on and it's just not working? Hmm. I mean, you can, I don't know. I'm sorry. You can go around and check the different ones, I guess. It's 4 o'clock. I guess I can get started. For those of you guys in the Zoom, I'm hoping you can hear me. I can't hear you, so if you have questions, you can just pop it in the chat. So it's fun. Oh, thank you guys for telling me. So yeah, today is just pretty much like syllabus, getting you guys introduced to what this lab is all about. So my name is Maddie Messmore, Madison Messmore, Mads, if you're in the Discord. It's really whatever. You can call me whatever, as long as it's not me, it is. I am a senior mechanical engineer, so I just took this class last semester, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. As a bit of like a background piece of information, I absolutely loved this class when I took it. I mean, it's not for everybody, but part of that, Jason, I am the discard power user. But in my defense, Kyle is also in there, so I'm allowed to use my power. But I love this class, and it's not for everybody, but it gave me a love for programming, and it's insanely useful if you actually learn. And so my goal is to help you guys have as much of a good time as I did, or at least learn something. I know with this whole online learning thing, I've barely learned anything, so yeah. I'm gonna do my best to help you guys. So feel free to contact me if you need anything. I'm like literally always on my computer, so I'm almost always on Discord and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. So I apologize if things feel really disorganized for this section. I still don't have access to web courses, so I won't until next week, probably. Hopefully by Sunday, but I guess we'll see on that. Yeah, we love UCF. But I promise I will be getting on there, setting up my office hours. My office hours are on Tuesdays from 10 to 12 and Thursdays from 11 to 1. And they will be posted so y'all can see them. And it's tentative whether or not I will actually be doing it. I was talking a little bit with the other TAs about making a poll to rearrange our cohorts a little bit so that people who want to come can come every week if they want to, and the people that don't want to come obviously don't have to. Or people who can't come also, because I understand that it's blend flex, so people shouldn't be expected to have to come. I get that. So don't tell UCF I said that. So yeah, I don't think I have the syllabus, which is why I was saying I'm not super organized. I have the one from spring, and it should be pretty close to the same. Let me look at it real quick. I'll say it's close. Oh, actually, am I allowed to show you guys that? Yeah, I feel like this is public knowledge. Bit of a forward for everybody, yourself included. I promise I'm only not wearing a mask right now because I'm fully vaccinated and I've been told I'm hard to understand. So I want y'all to actually hear me. Otherwise, I'd absolutely just keep it on anyway. So, oh, yeah, I guess I'll just share this. This isn't the current syllabus, and actually, is the syllabus posted for you guys in the lab? Because I don't have access to it. I have the lecture syllabus, but not the lab one. Hold it up. It's on the what? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Oh, yeah, I can't see, but sweet. Okay, that's good to know. If y'all can see the lab syllabus, that's actually extremely useful to know and to look at. I wish I could go into more detail, but I haven't seen it till like scroll through it with you guys. I do have some notes from when I was talking to the other TAs about it. So this semester, or this summer, I guess, we're doing it a little different than spring was. From what I've been told, every lab project is only one assignment. I mean, before it was always just one grade in the end, but now it's one quiz per project, and you have to submit your programming files with these projects. And then that grade is 30% of like your actual modeling methods grade. I think it's 30%. That sounds about right. It tracks. I can't. I don't have like the current one. This is the course syllabus, but I mean, I could share the course syllabus, but I don't know if that's helpful because technically most of what this isn't like what I'm going to be talking to you guys about. But I'll go to the grading section. Yeah, projects are 30% of the grade. That's what I thought. What was I saying? Oh, I think we have 8 projects, 8 or 9. So we pretty much are going to have a project every week, pretty much. And so they are, I actually don't know the due dates now that we changed it. It should show everything in WebCourse. You'll be able to see the due dates, and I can make an announcement to remind you guys about due dates and stuff like that. Wow. Can y'all tell this is the first time I've ever taught? So essentially what these projects are is every week, I think it's usually on Mondays is when we release them. Mondays, we will release a project, official project thing, and it's a packet of information. It gives you a problem and then the numbers that you're going to work with. And the Friday before, I think it's the Friday before. The Friday before we actually start the project, or Friday before the project's due, there we go. In the lab, we kind of walk through it, and I'll show you all of it. We'll be using Octave. I hope all of you have installed it by now, or at least have access to it. I will say an important note, Octave and MATLAB are not the same. For your resume, they're basically the same. But you can say you know MATLAB if you know Octave. But syntax is slightly different, and the numbers that you get from it are also different. They're slightly different in the way that they're compiled. So if you try to do the projects in MATLAB, you might not get the right answers. And also your code would be slightly off. So do remember that. But you can say after this class that you're decently proficient in MATLAB, which is really great to know. And you know, corporations like that a lot. But yes, so we'll be doing all of those programming projects in Octave, and every time we do it, we'll have program files. Depending on the project, sometimes you just have like your main script, or other times you'll have your main script and then function files, and all of that will be due in that assignment. And then you also have to run the code and then make a PDF of the output and submit that too. I feel like I probably should have tried to just make my own syllabus so you guys don't have to sit here and hope you know what I'm saying while I'm trying to explain it. But yeah, I am going to try to do test reviews for you guys this semester. There's already some fantastic ones, so I'm taking, well, not really taking this quiz, but I'm coming in after Rodrigo, who was my TA, and he made test reviews that are very helpful. So if you look up on YouTube, Rodrigo Duran, it's got fantastic stuff, because he also talks about some of the labs. Next week, we'll be starting the first project. First project's pretty easy. About the projects, actually, I might as well just open up Octave. That's fine. Okay. So for those of you who have already downloaded it, this is what she looks like in all of her glory. I'm a big fan, personally. If you actually can get comfortable in Octave or MATLAB, it makes your homework so much easier. Like, I took machine design last semester as I was learning all of this, and I was able to make programs to do all of my homework for me. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. 10 out of 10. Well, maybe 9 out of 10. Sometimes it can be really slow, but she's doing the best. I will say it will be very helpful for y'all to know like matrix and linear algebra. I mean, it's not a prereq, obviously. We're going to try to teach you that, but it's very, very useful information. So if you've taken it, you kind of have a leg up. Because typically with this class, that's what kids struggle in. I say kids, they're all kids. People struggle the most with matrix and linear concepts. So I wouldn't blame you. I struggled with it too because I didn't take matrix and linear algebra before. But it's cool stuff. It's really cool math. Let me make sure I don't have any notes that I'm forgetting. Oh no, I can't see the chat while I'm sharing my screen. That's unfortunate. Oh. Okay. An interesting thing to note about Octave. Oh, and you don't have to be writing any of this down. This is, I might send you guys this. Our, our generous overlord, Kyle, has made us this beautiful introductory document that kind of walks you through a lot of the syntax, talks a little bit about some concepts of Octave. Very useful. That's what I was telling you about possibly sending. Oh, this is anyway. Oh yeah, but your operating system may affect your numbers as a fair warning. Us TAs are going to try to keep in mind that that is a possibility. So like Apple versus Windows versus Linux, it all might be a little different, but super slightly. And it's kind of a concept that you cover in the beginning. I don't think you got to it yet, but it's this whole machine epsilon and everything. It's a whole numerical thing that we talk about. It's super fascinating, but I'm not going to spoil it yet because it's pertinent to the first project too. Oh, big thing about these projects. So you have to submit the files with the assignment, and the files are only worth 10% of the project grade. However, if you don't submit the files, you get a 0 for the project. So yeah, don't forget to submit your files, and also put your name. So like up here, typically what you want to do is you have your header for your code. You're going to want to have, well, you don't necessarily have to do printf. Normally what I would do would be like, let's see. Lab, Friday, 4 p.m. Project 1, whatever the title of it is. And then your name and the date. Today's date, 5/21. 5/21/21, that's kind of dope. Yeah, so pretty much you can do it like that. You don't have to make it print like Kyle did. He was just showing you that is actually how you make things print to this command window over here. Oh, wait, no, this one time. But anyway. I don't know what's on that one either. Do they not have it? Oh, it's done. Excuse me. How are you not? Blah. Okay, whatever. Anyway, we'll get over that later. So yeah, make sure you put your name. First 2 projects, well actually, first project, I'll probably leave a comment to get your name, and I'll be like, hey, please put your name on it. But then second time you do it, I might take off a point or 2. And then starting on the 3rd project, I've been told that I'm supposed to be a lot more cruel. So please don't forget to put your name on the assignments. Normally what I do is, well, at least what I did is I pre-made a file for every single project and just like duplicated the file. So I just made like one, made my header for the one, and I duplicated it for all of the other ones. That way, because I'm the type of person to forget to put my name on an assignment. So don't be that person and put your name on your assignment. Let's before I get into more of the technical stuff. That might be it, hopefully. I think that's most of the housekeeping. I apologize now. I like to say, well, I don't like to say, I say howdy and y'all unironically. There's nothing I can do about it. And I'm so sorry. But I'm from the Panhandle, so it is what it is. And I only get an accent, I think, if I'm talking about home. So I promise to try my best to stay understandable for everybody. I almost said y'all, but I didn't. Yeah, okay, so getting into more of the like actual Octave stuff. Let's see. So I showed you guys the first 3 lines I put on there. That's a comment. To create a comment, you can just use the like percent sign, there we go, that's what it was. And that whole line becomes a comment. To print something to the window, you use printf. I think there's also fprintf, and yeah, printf works here too. I'm assuming, yeah, intro to C is a prerequisite, right? Yeah, so then you guys know /n, a lot of those other things. I don't think we used diary at all. Most of the stuff, you don't have to be too worried about it. We're gonna use it, and I'll probably explain it more as we go too. So you don't have to be like, I gotta write all of this down, because we'll talk about it later too. And this doesn't my best. This is a comment. Yes, this is a comment. This is how to print to screen. Yes, this is how to print to screen. Actually, I wonder. I don't understand why. Whatever. I'll just leave it in there. Ka-chow. So this is what a figure looks like. They're really fun. Not super fun to code in, but it's pretty straightforward. I'll say for the most part, Octave's pretty straightforward. If you've programmed at all, it's really easy. But even if you haven't, it's like it's not so bad. Most things are generally straightforward. This is the kind of thing that you'll have to screenshot when you submit and like put into a PDF when you submit your projects. So like you have your output, which will also be in. So when I say printing to the command window, this is who I'm talking about. So it printed. I don't know why it's not letting me. Oh, wait a minute. I swear if it moves the whole thing over, I'm gonna get mad. No, okay, we're good. I don't really like having my command window over here, so I can see it while I'm doing things. This is this shows what directory you're in when you're working on things. This top left little window, which is kind of handy. Make sure that if you run code, well, okay, I don't want to get too squirrely on you guys and get confusing. So I'm trying to like stay in my little box, and I won't leave it so I don't confuse you guys. But it is an important thing to remember that that's what that is. Because if you're working with multiple files, make sure that they're all in the same directory and that you're in the right directory. Normally it'll tell you if you're not in the right one, but it'll yell at you. What are you doing? But yeah. So that is what this looks like printed. So yeah, you have to use quotation marks for print. That's pretty obvious. I don't remember ever having to use display date. You do use display, but not date. Screen. Yeah. So as he says, literally you don't have to worry about learning all this. We'll talk about it. It's also kind of boring. Syntax is annoying. And 9 times out of 10, you can go on Google and figure it out. There's a ton of resources online that help you. But yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like it's more useful to just send this to you guys because this isn't. It's just so much, and we're gonna talk about all of it as we go for the most part. And it might be a nice little cheat sheet to have. In fairness, I don't know. I might have to ask Kyle if it's okay for me to send it though. We'll see. Okay, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna ask Kyle and then I'll try to send it to you guys. I don't want him to get mad at me. He's a kid. Are any of you guys in the Discord? You are? Yeah? Yeah, for you? What's your name? Matthew. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'll send a message. I can't send a message in web courses yet, so I might send one in Discord. Be like, hey, I got this if you want it. Yeah, that's mostly it. Do you guys have any questions? I know I've just like kind of haphazardly zoomed through a lot. No, you don't have to like, go over all of that. Yeah, that's just like a reference to have. Kind of like a crash course, an extreme crash course in syntax, and it's like how to use Octave. Because it's pretty easy to pick up as you go, especially if you use it and see it in practice. It's harder to look at something out of context and be like, okay, it's a variable, until you actually see it and like put it into everything. So on this, no. Yeah, no. Next week we're starting. I will be going over the project 1, teaching it to you guys, and then it should be due the next Friday or next Saturday, something like that. Next Friday. Go into. Oh wow, there's a lot of people talking in the chat. A lot of reading. Someone asked what coding language is the most useful. Which coding language is the most useful? That just depends entirely on what you want to do. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So I am currently a researcher in the health sciences lab off on a different satellite campus in Lake Nona. And I've also worked quite a few side jobs, none of them, crazy cool. But if you guys ever have any kind of questions, obviously I'm still an undergrad. I'm working on securing my graduate position here, but if y'all have any questions, want any mentoring, I can do my best to answer questions or to connect you to people who do know the answers. So also, I love Python. 10 out of 10 love Python. I learned that I started learning Python while I was taking this class because of how much I liked Octave. Maybe I'm just a massive nerd, who knows? But oh my gosh, Tara, you have a baby? I'm so sorry. You have to go to school and have a kid? I'm still a child. Props to you. I'm being recorded. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm pretty much gonna show you the whole thing, like, and walk you through step by step why the code works the way it does. Because that's what Rodrigo did, and it was the best way I learned. So I figured that might be the best way to teach. Who knows? So it really shouldn't take that long. You will have to learn it though. I will give you that. I will say that. Hopefully I'll be able to explain it enough so that you'll understand it. But these quizzes that you will be having, you have to know the material. So like, essentially what we're going to do is we'll be like, okay, here's a quiz. It's not on lockdown or anything because you have to have your program open in Octave and you run it. However, we're going to ask you to change certain things depending on the scenario. So we might be like, gosh, that's a good example. We might ask you to change. I can't come up with a good example because any of the ones that I know, or at least I remember, are from the end of the semester. You know how I got to that. But basically, yeah. So we'll ask you something to change something in a way that you have to know where in the code to look for to change it. It won't be obvious to be like, change the 4 to a 5. It'll be like, change the number of points you are looking at from 2 to 4, something like that. So Hopefully not a lot of time, but sometime. I'll try my best to minimize it, but there's only so much I can do. Quizzes the entire class period. I think you have the whole week to do quiz. Pretty sure. Because what it used to be you had to submit your files, and then you had a whole week to do this answer sheet thing where you would run the code, which is essentially what this is. We're kind of combining that, and then we had an in-person, or not in-person, in-lab quiz. So you have 15 minutes to do this nasty quiz in the lab time. You only could do it in the lab time. Well, we got rid of that. We merged it with the answer sheet. So don't remember exactly. They didn't say today, and unfortunately, because I don't have the syllabus, I can't tell you positively, but I'm like pretty sure. Those are the lecture quizzes. Yeah, we have lab quizzes, so you'll have lecture and lab is separate for the most part. It's in the same web course this semester to try to make it easier for us to grade, but they're separate. So Kasab has his own quizzes every 2 lectures. So it is on Tuesdays until you have your test. Sometimes that's like on a Thursday, and then it throws the quiz to a different day. But yeah, those aren't so bad. Make sure to try your best on them though, because those are the things that get everybody. They are not easy. Not easy at all. I will say that. Somebody asked a question. So the command window runs the code, and the editor is where you do the code. Yes. Jason, you are a stud. I don't know you, but I'm just gonna say you're a stud because you're already answering the questions. Appreciate you. Yeah, I guess I can go back into the well. Y'all want me to go back and talk more about Octave specifically, or would you rather me just wait until next week and keep this a short lab? The sooner the better. You want to get the suffering over with? It is being recorded. You want me to go over project 1 early? I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to. This is my first like teaching ever. I mean, do you have to submit something today? No. You do not have to submit something today. I'm the teacher, I'm the best. I just work here. No, not actually. I mean, I'm trying. I want to be the best I can for y'all, so for short. It's inevitable. I am. Okay, of the 3 of you that came, wait, there's 3, right? Yeah, 3 of you that came. I'm gonna weigh your opinions the heaviest. Would you rather me go back to Octave, talk more about it, or cut it short? Okay. Same with you? Sure. Sorry, Doug, your vote wasn't even going to get a chance. 2 against 1.
I think I do.
You do? Oh, okay. Okay, so then back to Octave we go. The wonderful land of Octave. Oh, wait a minute. That's interesting. Okay, let me check something because I haven't tried doing this in share screen. Okay, so when I run this, do y'all see the figure in the Zoom? Shoot, I can't. It's not. Oh, because it's a different window. Of course they do that. Can I switch windows like mid? Okay, check this out. Let's see if I can try it again. So for those of y'all who are not here, that's what the figure looks like. And I feel like it's a pretty accurate representation of real life. What? Wait, I'm sorry, my hearing is absolutely terrible. So, okay. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. Bro, please. Okay. And no. And back. Okay. So here we go. Let's see. Where did we leave off? So, as he says, all variable types default to double, even though it prints as an int. So to define a variable, you can literally just be like x equals 2. You don't have to do that whole garbage where you're like int x equals 2, or that crap. Yeah, which is beautiful. We love to see it. Don't forget, if you run your code and you discover that it's printing a bunch of lines that you didn't think it should, like including equations or formulas, most of the time it's because you forgot a semicolon at the end of the line. So it suppresses the output, is what a semicolon does. So when you don't, yeah. So if you forget the semicolon, it's gonna print it exactly like you typed it in, which isn't so bad. Cool thing about the command window, not to jump around so much, is that you can actually type directly into the command window. So if you run code, say, so like what I just did, we gave x, well, it's kind of odd that it gave x a bunch of different values, but whatever. Say you have a variable and you didn't feel like printing it, or for whatever reason, or you wanted to do, well, let's try something different. Whatever, I'll just say but equals 4. If you want to know what but is equal to, you can do that. Or you can be like but plus 4, and you get 8. So it's pretty useful if you need like on the fly calculations, whatever. Yeah. Though it doesn't save this when you save the file. It just saves your .NET files. So don't forget that. No, I don't think I've ever seen anybody only program in the command window, because it's not very happy when you try to command in the command in the command window, code in the command window. No. If you type into the command window, like all you're doing is running commands. You're not creating like an actual .NET file when you're typing into the command window. Your command window knows everything that you put into your program file, but it doesn't go both ways necessarily. Like you can't change something in the command window. So you can't be like, well, actually it doesn't do plus plus. But so like say you do but plus 4, it's not gonna change the value but over here. And it also wouldn't be like, oh, so do but equals 4. Run this bad boy. Okay, so now it's created the variable but. Maybe like but is 4. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like hoping. Okay, yeah, pretty sure it won't do it. So now it says I made it so that but now equals 6 in the command window. However, if you run this again, it's not like it doesn't change. Nothing changed but over here. It just changed it on the other side. For a second, I was second guessing my life. I was like, does it change it? But no. Pardon? Yes, that's correct. I mean, you can like play around with the output on the command window, but you can't change the actual programming from the command window. I don't feel very tech savvy when I try to talk like that. I'm unfortunately not CS in any capacity. I do like computers though. Let's see. Okay. be very mindful of, so you know his lecture notes that Kasab posts? Okay. I highly recommend looking at his lecture notes that he posts on web courses. He highlights all of his important information. And that's mostly what his quizzes are on. And his quizzes are very important. And all of the test reviews, I made all of the documents that are the test reviews are very, very, very useful. That's pretty much like all I can say. I don't know. I will say, word of advice, to start these projects as early as you can. That was the one thing. I am a terrible procrastinator when it comes to school, like 9 times out of 10. But because I like this class, I didn't procrastinate, and I'm really glad that I didn't. So I don't recommend waiting till the last day. If I started 2 days before I was done, yeah, you'd be able to finish it. Most of them. Some of them, no. The last few are pretty difficult. The last like 3. No, I'd say about 2 days. And when I say you need that much time, it's not like the programming takes that long. It's usually you'll run into a bug because it's kind of long and it's complex. And for my sanity and the sanity of the other TAs, I really don't recommend coming to us on the last day freaking out that you have a bug, because. But of course, I'll always answer. So if y'all need help, I can. Yeah, a big thing that we're going to talk about. We love Octave for its handling of vectors and arrays. She's beautiful. Python, it's not quite as straightforward. That's the one thing I have against Python. But yeah, so up here, defining an array. That's what she looks like. You can have commas in there, but you also don't have to have commas. That just makes it like, you know, the horizontal array, vector, line, whatever. But then if you want to make it, transpose it to make it a vertical vector, you put in semicolons, which is pretty dope. Yeah, and then so in order to combine those two things, so if you have multiple vectors in an array, or you have like, you know, a 3x3 array, it sounded really dumb when I said it. So for a 3x3, all you'd have to do is 1, 2, 3, and then semicolon. And let's see, I'm pretty sure, yeah, he outputs it. Gosh, there's so much. Okay, yeah. So this is what that looks like right here. Output. Oh, and the quizzes are going to be like asking for things usually that you get in output. So like, well, what I said, we're gonna ask you to adjust certain values and then run it, but then you'll be giving us the values that you get out of the command window, because that's the answer, more or less. Not for the quiz. The quizzes is going to be like a web course quiz with multiple questions, and I don't think everybody has the same quiz. So, but you will have to screenshot this command window for the project submission. So, usually it won't be, the first project especially will not be this much. This is a lot. Sweet Kyle did so much. What a king. Speaking of, the other TAs, super cool people. Highly recommend if you have any kind of issues, also talking to them, or just talking to them. Kyle's a GTA, so he's like in charge of all of us TAs. He's a homie. Super nice guy. Also very busy though, so keep that. Let's see, what's next? I don't want to get super ahead because some of the stuff. Let's see. Okay, well this isn't ahead. So yeah, this one's decently useful. We'll be using it for functions, add, subtract, multiply and divide. I will say with Octave, use as many parentheses as you feel like you need and then add some because it gets so mad at the smallest things with syntax. So, I mean, maybe not go like super overboard. That's kind of a joke, but you will need to use a lot of parentheses with the formulas that we're working with. And I wonder if you put that in there somewhere. Sometimes when you're working with variables, I don't think you did put it in here. Oh, wait. Yes. This is an important concept to recall. One thing that I found, this isn't like an official solution in any capacity, but a lot of times when we have complex equations in our code, I would like struggle. It would throw me all kinds of errors and be like, oh, this can't be done, this can't be done. So I would just pop in periods after every single variable in the formula, and like 7 times out of 10 that would actually work. So I mean, don't always do it, but just be wary of that. It'll come up later, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later. But that's just like a pro tip from a fellow gamer. That sounds so cringe. This is what's up? Which one or what? The addition subtraction. Find the. I was just looking at it. Where did it go? Is it up here? Oh, it's right here. Let's see. Where would that be? Okay, so where's B? Operations. Right? Question mark? Is that operations? No, it's not. This is. No, I must have been right. No, I wasn't right. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. What? I'm losing my mind. Okay, yeah, no, this is. Sorry. What's up? The other one was on the bottom of the screen. Can you give me a little more detail? Oh, that won't really show you anything. Because that's literally just like me telling you sometimes when you multiply. Yeah, I mean, okay, maybe I should qualify that statement because it doesn't always work. The problem isn't always like how it's handling the multiplication. How does Kyle explain it? No, it has a purpose. I'm just trying to remember like the best way to explain why it has to be there. Okay. I don't really see much else. We're gonna work with plots. Plots are fun. They're pretty. You can do a whole lot with plots. So this is kind of like the syntax for it. You should be like plot, parentheses, and then you give your x variable and your y variable, and we'll plot that. There's also like a lot more plots you can do. We will be going over some of the more complex ones later, especially in the last project. The last project's pretty wild. Got a lot of plots. So it was the second to last, but yeah. You can give it a title, label. Highly recommend labeling your things because it makes it easier to read when you actually have to submit your data. Also, it'll make it easier for me to read when I'm grading. So I will be more likely to be kind if you label things. Love it when people label. But I don't know. I think this is, yeah, I think that, I'll talk about that when we get there. Yeah, I'd say that's most of the syntax we'll need to know for now. That I recommend knowing for now. The purpose of this lab is he's going to be giving you theoretical stuff, and it's hard. It's pretty hard. Hard to understand. I'm not gonna lie. But purpose of this lab is to kind of apply that knowledge so that you guys can really grasp what's going on. And it's very helpful, I will say, to actually see it run through, because the final has a lot of math on it. Actually, the midterm does too. Or the midterm? Exams, whatever. Exams have a good bit of math on them. And so it's useful to understand not just the theory, but also the math that goes on behind it. And this, I don't know, I mean, maybe it's not the same for everybody, but I'd say that this was very helpful for me to be able to see the code working out that math for you. Because we're pretty much, he's going to be giving you concepts, and then we are going to be turning those concepts into functions. You know, it really makes it clear to see when you see a computer going through it step by step what's going on. So also, side note, I saved every single one of Rodrigo's lab videos from last semester. So I understand not everybody has the same like learning style, I guess. So I'll probably post those just in case. I think the labs should be staying about the same. Even if they're not the same, he does go over topics. So that way you'll have my words, my teachings, and you'll have his. So maybe it'll really, you know, sink in, which is my hope. I did that intentionally. But yeah, I'd say that's about it on the Octave stuff. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I couldn't see the chat the whole time we were sharing the screen. Yes. Jason, you're really out here explaining things like a stud. Cool. Is that any other questions or anything else for me? That's it? Yeah. Other two have anything? No? It's like 50-50. Well, yeah, I'd say it's about 50-50. As long as he keeps in the same style. He has a lot of theoretical stuff that are multiple choice, and then he'll have also a lot of mathematical stuff. And those problems are multi-step, but he makes it in such a way that you can still get partial credit because it's multiple questions for one problem, that kind of thing. So even if you mess up, it's not going to destroy you. No, I think it blocked down the test. Most of them aren't too bad. I'd say the second test was the hardest. Usually it's for most people because it's a lot of matrices, like a lot of matrices. And those are not super fun to deal with. But as long as you can just get down the process, it's not so bad at all. I mean, I guess if that's it, we can end it. Thank you guys. Sorry to those in the Zoom that I can't hear. That is all. Bye, y'all.